Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. It is a wet morning this morning here on the farm in north central Arkansas, and all of my morning chores are done, and now I'm just kind of piddling is what I call it. I call it piddling around the farm. I've got a lot of things that I need to do. I've got, the grass needs to be mowed. Excuse me. I'm gonna flip you around. My horse needs a good brushing. She had a bath last month that took care of a good portion of her shed, but she is still shedding out her winter coat and is looking a little drab. Not to mention, she is super duper itchy. And that is from being out on pasture and the ticks and the bugs, and being, you know, she gets fly sprayed every day. And so she is in need of a good brushing and a good loving this morning. And of course, I try to turn my compost piles at the beginning of every month, and so we need to get our compost piles turned if the weather will allow it. If it gets too muddy with the tractor, then we'll just have to wait. But we have like 9 out of the 10 next days with rain in them. So it's gonna be a very wet spring here, and we just have to do the best that we can every day. And get done what we can get done. So lots to do. Not sure what we're gonna do on this video, but the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my mare a good brushing and spend some quality time with her. Does that feel good? Oh, she's so cute. I'll be back with brushes. Still waiting. Now people are even commenting that they're still waiting. Not you, Oreo. You're not going to be due for some time. But you, mean. Look at that belly. Look at that udder. Oh. Big old bellies. Big old udders. That's Oreo. Hi, Reese's. Yeah. Hi, girls. I know you're inside today because it's rainy today and we got thunder boomers coming and going, and I don't want you outside where you'll get wet. Sheep don't like to get wet. Well, my sheep don't like to get wet. But looking mighty large, and we are hanging low, if you know what I mean. So soon. I did do some recalculation and I got a little too excited a little too soon. Their first date, I went back through, excuse you, I went back through all of my receipts and everything of when I purchased King, when King was able to be in with the girls or out in the alleyway in the barn with them. And the first date that we could see babies would be tomorrow. And then of course it could go as far as like the 3rd weekend in May. So I'm thinking it's gonna be sooner rather than later, but I jumped the gun a little bit and I'm sorry. I thought that when they bagged up, I thought they had 5 to 10 days, and that is not true. Some people's sheep bag up to 3 weeks, 4 weeks even, before they give birth. So I know, I'm excited too. I can't wait for them to get here and share them with you, and it should be soon. What do you think? You think that's a good look for her? She's like, Mom, fix my hair. This looks stupid. There. All better. She still has some hair on her barrel that isn't quite ready to come out yet, but give her a good brushing. Got her mane all brushed out. Interesting fact, horses actually shed their mane as well as everything else. They don't shed the entire mane, but their mane does shed. So and this stuff right here just isn't quite ready. It comes out a little bit at a time. But she's rocking the spring shed dapple. That's what we're gonna call it. She says, I'm an old lady and I'm beautiful on the inside and the outside. All right. Look who's out and about in between rain showers today. All the girls. For those of you that missed it, they got moved from the stock trailer yesterday to the camo garden coop, and I put them inside the house yesterday, and they have made their way out today and are enjoying time grazing in the grass, and they're all looking good. They spent their first night out last night, so it's exciting news. All my Barred Rock ladies. All right, I have to run to the feed store and get some oats so that Missy Velvet's not mad at me anymore. And I will be right back. And boom, just like that, I've got my horse's senior feed and my horse's oats, so she has no reason to be mad at me. Let me get this unloaded. While we're here, looks like we got about a ½ an inch of rain yesterday and last night. Okay, moving on. Ta-da! All right. Now I need to get the tractor and get the compost turned. While it's not raining, we're supposed to have rain off and on, so we'll see what I actually get done. Compost pile is on my list, as well as mowing. So we'll see. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is where all of my barn waste goes to. These are my compost piles. I do cold composting. It is not an act of science for me. It is just something that I do with my barn waste. And you know, grass clippings, things like that go into it. but it is not a active hot composting method. So it takes longer, and sometimes I still have grass growing in my compost. But basically, so that you know how it works, this first pile here, the one closest to the back door of the barn, this is where it goes first, and then this pile gets turned to that pile. So this pile here has been turned once, and then it gets turned again to over here where you see this dark spot in the grass. And I have moved most of this. I have one more bucket load out of this. So when it comes here, it has been turned twice. And then from here, it goes into another pile up at the garden. You can barely see it right up there. And then I can use out of it for the garden. I try to turn my compost once a month. But it's not, again, like, it's not a science. I have good luck doing this, and it works well for my garden. And I guess I'm just trying to give you guys the liberty and the freedom to not be overwhelmed by composting. A lot of people get scared of, they just choose not to do it because they're scared that they're not going to do it correctly. And I'm showing you this because I feel like it will liberate people to just do the dang thing. Make the compost, you know, turn it as often as you can. It's not, you know, and once it is not growing weeds anymore and it looks halfway decent, then use it in your garden. As long as it's broken down to a certain extent, then, and especially with this has a lot of carbonation in it. It's got a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of wood, hay, straw, from cleaning out stalls. It is not hot compost at all. There's not a special recipe. I'm just taking my stuff out of my barn, taking the diddly squat out of my barn, so to speak, piling it up in a pile, turning it a few times, and then it gets to go in the garden. So just build the compost pile and let it age, turn it a few times, stick it in your garden, see how it works. Maybe do a test plot. You know, I'm not saying do a 1 acre garden your first try, but you know, maybe do a test plot. This works for me, and it's super simple, and you can do it on any scale. You can do it with a rake and a shovel, or, which is how I've done it for years in Oregon. And then when I moved here to Arkansas, we were able to purchase my little tractor, and so now I do it with my tractor. But I didn't always do it with my tractor. So I might light that fire today. I need to. Oh, I got so many things I gotta do. Look, there's a tractor dog. Okay, so all done. It only took me like 30 minutes to do the whole thing. And I will show you this compost right here. Is compost that we bought before my compost was ready. We just needed it for the potatoes back there in the background. This is my compost that I made, and as you can see, it's got quite a bit of fiber in it, and it's not 100% broken down and sifted like that stuff is. But it does still have good nutrients in it, and there is not weeds growing in it, so it's good to go in the garden. And I'll get down here to my other piles. Take a peek at the chickie poos on our way by. Hi, girls. Oh, this pasture, my horse and sheep just cannot keep up with it. Need more animals. Just kidding. I'm happy with what I have. So this is what I just turned from the first turn pile to the second turn pile. So this has been turned a total of 2 times. And to be completely honest, I forgot that I had that spot in between the 2. So by the time it gets to the garden, it's been turned 4 times. But I was halfway done with this pile, and I went, you know what, I'll turn it from here back to there. So, correction, the compost is turned a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 times before it goes to the garden. And this stuff really shows that even in a month, this is not going to be ready to go to the garden. I would imagine now that I've turned this, it will heat back up and the rain will help. But this would definitely grow weeds. There's still, I mean, you can tell that it heats up because this is what happens. It starts getting mycelium, and it starts heating up to the point to where it's like almost smoldering, the hay. So this will get turned one more time and then get turned again to go to the garden. So technically 2 more turns before it ever goes into the garden. And this is the first turn. So here's my pile that comes out of the barn. It's completely empty now, waiting for stuff to come out of the barn. And this is after being turned 1 time. And as you can see, it's still very much in its raw form. So it gets darker every time you turn it, and darker's better. So anywho, that task is done. I am going to move on to, I'm not sure. I need to make a whole new line of Velvet's paddocks. She's grazed all these out, and the sheep are fixing to bump into this paddock right here where Bossy is, and so I need to make more for Velvet. I don't know when she's going to be able to go out next. It's raining almost every day, but as you can see, there's lots of food out here. So I need to do that, but I also need to mow. Decisions. I'm not sure, but I will keep you informed as to what goes on the farm, and we'll always have fun while we're doing it. Okay, so what I've done here is I went ahead and mowed a swath through the pasture so that I can run Velvet's electric fence down through it. And that is what it looks like now. I've got the posts in, and I just have to run the tape. I just spent a hot minute arguing with the vines down there on the fence so that I could get to the fence, and yeah. Love all the greenness. I'm gonna keep this up and keep clearing and putting posts in and tape up. But thanks guys for coming along with me today. I'm gonna let you go here, and because I can't show you everything. But I'm so happy that you stopped by the homestead today and went on this journey with me, and today and every other day that you do. I appreciate you more than you know. I hope you had a beautiful day. Yours truly,